Good afternoon, good morning, good evening,
evening.
whatever time of the day it is, wherever it is you may be. Welcome to Jess, Ben, and Ben's Untitled Podcast episode number 4.
Episode 4.
What's going on, guys? We are back finally with a new episode of the podcast. I am Ben, and I am joined by the lovely, the talented, the phenomenal, the gorgeous, the delicious, the delicious producer, Miss Jess. She is here with me. Say hello, you beautiful creature, you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello to you.
Hello. And how are you today?
As we've said in previous podcasts, I am dealing with a little bit of the itis right now because we just had dinner not too long ago before we started recording this. So I am recording this podcast with a full tank, a full belly right now. As are you. How are you holding up on that?
I am doing, as they say, phenomenal.
I like that.
And, luckily our bellies are, smiling from, cheek to cheek. Or actually, not really cheek to cheek.
Do stomachs have cheeks?
No. It's smiling from waist to waist. There you go. Hip to hip. Hip to hip. There you go.
Hip. I like that. That's good.
Exactly. I don't know why I was thinking of the buttocks when I said cheek to cheek, but...
No, I was thinking of the buttocks. You know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying?
But yeah, so... It's been I think, two weeks maybe since the last time we recorded, but
yeah.
an eventful couple of days, weeks, as they always typically are. Let's get started with some of the fun little events that have happened.
For sure. It's been a while since we recorded our last podcast, but we've had new videos out. Mm-hmm. If you want to go check those out.
We actually have some kind of content out on the channel now.
We do.
We launched the new Just Been Playing series where we play video games.
And we also launched the new Just Been Opening.
Oh, yeah.
Where we have a series of opening Uno cards. No, just kidding, guys. It's Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Which, surprisingly, to my surprise, I didn't think it's like, we're just opening cards. No one's going to care. People have been you guys have been really eating it up with the card opening videos. I'm actually shocked.
Thank you guys so much for all the
mad respect and love to all the support
you guys are showing us. Mad love to you guys. Mad love
that you guys have been showing for the card opening. They've actually been again, no disrespect to the podcast. We love doing the podcast, but I have been having a lot of fun with the card opening videos. Not just because of the content, I think, that we're doing with that. Just because I get to have a little bit more fun with the edits and everything like that, which you already know me. When it comes to editing, that's my jam. That's my bread and butter. When I get to do fun edits and stuff like that, I stick in things that I think is this could be funny. This could be this could be pretty interesting and everything like that. And it is, and it's been coming out really well. We actually have another episode already recorded.
Yes.
That we are going to put out
after this podcast.
A little bit after this podcast, maybe I want to say
a day or so.
Yeah, I want to say at the max 2 days after this podcast goes live.
Just keep an eye out.
Yeah, but we're trying to keep the content on the channel
to keep the channel alive,
as frequent as possible. So
yes,
I'm not saying we're gonna have a video every day, but at least if not, maybe 1 or 2 videos a week. If all goes well, then yeah.
Like everyone in the world, we do get busy. Life's life. Yeah, so we have things that go on.
Life is that annoying kid that won't shut up in the corner until you give him its juice box.
Or its lollipop. But yeah, exactly. But hey, we're going to try as hard as we can to provide as many videos as we can per week for you.
Yeah. Again, we don't have a set schedule of our upload, but it's just... stay subscribed,
Please.
ring the bell. I guess I have to say that now.
Ring the bell.
Because you have to have that, but yeah. We got lots of content coming.
Of course. With the upload speed we have with our internet anyways, we would We would love to have a schedule,
That's
but it's
another
so hard.
That's one of the reasons why we don't upload more daily content. It's because
It
of
takes like 3 days to upload one video.
Yeah.
One 30-minute video.
Our card opening videos are usually a little shorter than the podcast, but those have way more edits in them, and the upload time on there is ridiculous right now. But
it's redunculous, as I say.
But the good thing is, it's like we're like, even though we're busy with like life, and personal matters, we're always working on new content. So there's always going to be something for you guys to,
of course,
to wet your whistle with and dabble into.
We always look at each other and like discuss ideas, content. We always figure out what you guys are gonna like. I mean, we also obviously enjoy doing it as well. It's not something we're just doing to get people to follow us, but we also do it because we generally love doing what we do. We
essentially, like, I think what it boils down to is, like, we're not gonna make content that we wouldn't want to watch, you know? We're not going to just be like, oh, hey, this is funny and popular, let's do that. And it's like, no. If we're not enjoying it when we're doing it and recording it, then we're not going to make a video out of it.
What's the point?
Yeah.
It's like a dead fish in the water.
Yeah, you have to enjoy what you're doing.
Exactly.
It's like, if you're doing something just for the sake of, like, I just got to have something, I got to have it out, and then it's not fun anymore. And then it kind of loses its, its
meaning.
Yeah, it's meaning, you lose your motive, and it's just not fun, so.
I mean, there might be some people out there that do record for people just to record. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to target you. We are sorry if this offends you in anything we're saying. We're not trying to make it...
Make it about yourself, man. Yeah. I know some people do, like, do this for income and money, and I understand that, but, just because it's for your, income and everything like that doesn't mean you can't still have fun with it.
Exactly. And, one thing I love to bring up is earlier you were saying, your bread and butter, and you talked about jam. Right now, I'm not going to lie. Even though I'm full, I'm kind of craving toast with jam. But unfortunately...
I don't even want to think about, like, food.
We don't even have any jam or jelly, so I can't
we need to do some grocery shopping, if not tomorrow or the next day. But at the time of this recording, actually tomorrow is Mother's Day.
Yes. So celebrate your mamas.
Celebrate your mamas, and shout outs to all the mom listeners out there.
Yes, indeed.
You know who you are. If you're not a mom, then hey, maybe someday you will be. And if you're a guy, keep dreaming. The sky's the limit.
I mean, there are some guys out there that do play just the father role, father and mother role. Yeah. Because some people are single fathers. Yeah. So I mean, but props to you guys as well. Yeah. Regardless, happy Mother's Day to all of you. Yeah.
Happy Mom's Day to all the moms out there, and all the moms that just by some weird miracle come and discover this podcast and be like, oh, they said Happy Mother's Day. I like these guys. Why does the one guy talk about butts so much?
Because he's silly. He's very silly. But I love him.
But anyways,
want to jump into
more along the lines of what we've been up to.
Let's jump into it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So first thing, as most of you know, like we said earlier in the podcast, we started doing Pokemon card opening videos. And let me just say this. We've only opened up a few packs I think we've done, there's 2 videos we've actually uploaded. There's one we haven't uploaded yet.
So we've done 3.
Yeah, so we've done 3 videos so far. And we still have a lot. We still have a lot of cards still left to open. We still have, but the thing is, we still have so many still left to open. We actually went out, I think, it was today. We went out today to one of the local mom and pop game shops that we go to called Classic Contagious Games. Shout outs to them.
Big shout outs. If you have not been, you should go because they're very phenomenal people and they have really, really cute dogs. You should visit.
Yeah, if you're in the Florida area and everything like that, definitely look them up.
Exactly.
But yeah, so we went there and we actually picked up some more cards. We picked up some Vivid Voltage boosters and... I can't remember the other one. It was a pack. It was a booster pack that had Mew and Mewtwo on it. If I remember what it is later on in the podcast, I'll say it.
But I know it's something Mimes.
Yeah.
Like unfight? No.
Anyway.
Anywho,
Regardless, we got those. But yeah, so the Vivid Voltage we're actually really, really kind of hoping for, because we've heard that that's where you can get the big thick rainbow Pikachu card.
Once again, let's say that thick.
And I know it's maybe a 1 in a million chance that we would pull that, but that would be pretty cool.
That'd be dope.
I mean,
I would literally cry of happiness.
We're at this point right now where we don't even care what the cards are at this point. It's just like, if the art looks cool and it's a holo, we're excited about it. Because we're not really one of those people that is like, we have to know if this card's worth a lot. We have to just like, dude, if it's like a holo of a Pokemon that we like, we get excited.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, we do get excited. Sometimes it's not even worth a lot, and we're still like, hey, it's our first time seeing this card.
The video's not out yet, but the current card opening video that we have, I'll just say this right now, I get overly excited about a non-holo, just basic card. And I'm not going to say what Pokemon it is, but if you watch the video when it comes out, you'll know. It was really fun, because I did it twice.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun.
Oh, yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
There's a lot of references and funny edits and everything like that in this one coming out, so I really hope you guys dig that.
There was one he even surprised me with. Yeah. I was watching it, and I'm like,
it's like I added it in a specific edit for her that she didn't know about. Then when I actually showed her the final cut of it, and then she heard it, I was just like, ha, gotcha.
I fell in love.
It was great. But yeah, so let's talk about what we've acquired over the past week or so. So as you guys know, priorities are first. And then we do our, essential needs and stuff, like games and stuff like that.
Of course.
So one of the things that we ended up picking up was, what did we buy as of recently? We bought a couple Switch games. We bought. I shouldn't say I bought. We bought a physical copy of Hades on Switch, which I'll say this right now, I didn't need a physical copy of Hades on Switch, because I have it digital. But as most of you know, I love physical games, and
especially Switch.
I'd like to point this out. I had fully every intention to buy Hades physical. I wanted a physical. I wanted a physical copy of it, and I got tired of waiting, and I was just like, you know what? Screw it. They're not gonna make a physical copy of this. I'm just gonna buy it digitally and just be done with it. And then I bought it digitally. Much like when we buy Wii U games and they immediately get Switch ports, I think it was 2 days after buying it digitally, they announced the physical version of Hades, and I'm just like, are you...
What the heck?
It's like, why does this keep happening to me? And I was just like, screw it.
Why does this happen?
Exactly. Cue the Simple Plan song in here. But I don't want to give them any shine because they don't need it. But yeah, so we picked up Hades. We picked up Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Yeah, we did.
Because the funny thing is, we have that on Xbox.
Oh yeah,
and definitely. It's all 4K and everything like that. Runs at 60 and all that jazz.
But if it's any Switch game, he wants it physical.
It's so weird. Like, I will play these big budget AAA titles and stuff like that. I will play them on the console that they come out on, like Xbox, PS4 Pro, whatever. I will play that on them. But 9 times out of 10, I won't finish them on that. But the second they announce a Switch version, for some reason it's like, I have to get it on Switch, and that's where I end up finishing it. Exactly. Because, like, right now I'm playing through Crash 4 on Switch. And, like, I'll say this on Xbox, I was I think I was, like, maybe halfway done. But I'm just like, I'm going to put the Xbox version to the side and just finish it up on Switch. No reason to, but for some reason... And again, I don't play portably, because most people would think it's like, oh, it's because you play portably and everything like that. That's why you prefer the Switch version. No, I play docked 90% of the time on my Switch.
I mean, sometimes you play it because we have the grip, but not often.
Yeah, we have the Satisfy grip on there. And we're not sponsored by them, but hey, if Satisfy wants to shoot a couple free grips our way, or if they want us to boast about their product, I use that grip. I freaking love it. It's great.
It's beautiful. I would recommend if you're looking for a grip for your Switch or Switch Lite, check Spotify. Or not Spotify. Just check. I have Spotify stuck in my mind.
Spotify spells Switch grip, son. Get on their level.
Right? No. I can't even say it.
Dude, this is how you know we're like full of food and everything like that because we can't function and mind like properly.
Yeah,
but,
no, I'm tired right now. I'm not even gonna lie. But if you guys need any grips for your Switch or Switch Lite,
check Satisfy.
Yes,
yeah.
out.
I can see where you got Spotify and Satisfy.
They have a lot of good products.
Yeah.
I am sorry, Satisfy, for saying Spotify. It's just that I have Spotify in my mind right now because we were listening to it in the car.
I think right now they actually have a grip for the Switch right now that's like clear, like see-through, which is really dope. I haven't tried their one for the Switch Lite yet, but we are going to try to get our hands on the new blue Switch Lite when it comes out. Completely not necessary and completely not needed. But god dang it, that blue one looks so nice.
It looks beautiful. I looked at Ben and I was like, I want that one. And he's like,
and again, this is where the cheap guy in me came in, but also the loving boyfriend that I am. Because she's like, ooh, I want to get that blue Switch Lite. And I'm like, woman, you have a Switch Lite and a Switch already. Because before we got, we said before in the... I think it was like the first or second episode of the podcast. I let everybody know this, like, we got her a Switch Lite at the time because we were trying to get her the Animal Crossing Switch, but we couldn't because they were all out at the time. And then we eventually got her the Animal Crossing Switch. So right now, she doesn't have one, but two Switches. She has a Switch like normal and a Switch Lite. And I'm still rocking the base red and blue Joy-Con Switch. And everything like that. And
to be fair, I talked about...
And then they pop out with the blue one. She's like, I want that one too. And I'm like...
Hey, to be fair...
Uh-huh.
I would buy you that Mario Switch like I said I would. I would buy you pink Switch Lite like I said I would. I would buy you those Switches like you wanted to. You know what?
You know, it's like, we make it sound as like, I ain't getting it for you. No matter what you say, I ain't buying it. I already know we're buying this thing.
I mean, we provide for one another because, you know,
couples look out for each other, man. That's how we got to do it. But yeah, I am super psyched to get it.
I'm very psyched too, especially.
I feel like if I have the Switch Lite, even though like I have big old banana hands and everything like that, I do want to get it. So maybe that'll entice me to play portably just a little bit more. Like if I'm like laying in bed, or if we like go somewhere and everything like that, like say we take a trip or something like that, I can bring the Switch Lite with me. That way I can still have games and everything like that. Because thankfully for me, I don't have a lot of digital games. 90% of our game collection on Switch is physical. So it's not too much of a departure, but yeah. So
dun dun dun.
But yeah, that's coming out I think on the 21st or the 20th. It comes out the same day Miitopia comes out.
I thought it was the 30th.
I don't remember, but I know it comes out the same day Miitopia comes out. But we actually played the demo of that when that came out originally and had a lot of fun. Like, I know it came out on like 3DS, and I never played it because I like, this is a silly game with Miis in it. I'm like, I'm not gonna like this. It's gonna be dumb. But then I actually played the demo on Switch, and I'm just like, holy crap, this is a lot of fun. It's really silly and everything like that, and I really got a kick out of it. So I'm actually looking forward to that coming out.
I'm actually looking forward to it too because I really enjoyed watching you play it. Mm-hmm. It was really cute.
Yeah, posted some funny little like video clips from it and everything like that on Twitter. It was pretty great.
We had, little sweet. It's the sweet one.
Oh yeah, that was one of our party members because you can make like a Mii in that game, like of anybody you want to, and we made one of the little sweet guy from the Diet Dr. Pepper commercials, and it was just like, and it was like that was perfect. We made him a chef and everything. It was dope. It's like we made him and Leon from Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, I was about to say, we made Leon too. Oh my goodness. We'll post like little pictures or a clip of them right here when we're talking about them. But no, I remember because you asked me, you're like, who should I make? And like, I could not think for the life of me. I mentioned Leon, and then when we had the second one, I looked right at our Funko Pop, a little sweet. I was like, how about we make him? And you're like, oh, that's a good idea.
Legit, the entire time we played that, all it was going through my head is like, I want to die at Dr. Pepper. I want to die at Dr. Pepper.
And we still have not.
We still haven't got one.
I mean, and then we also made like this was your idea. This was Mercy and Drake.
Oh yeah, I forgot that like our villain in the actual game is like, because you get to make the me of whatever you want, and we're like weirdly obsessed with that Drake from State Farm commercial.
Oh yeah.
It's such a stupid commercial, but we laugh at it every single time. So it's just like, we want to make Drake from State Farm the villain in our story.
I love how he's like, I don't even have a standing.
And then they see Drake, it's like, I'm Drake from State Farm.
Yeah, wait, is that Drake? Yeah. Drake from State Farm.
It's such a hokey commercial, but it's great.
So awesome.
But yeah, going back to speaking about Leon, I know like not a lot of people follow like the VR scene who aren't like super big into it. So we actually found out during the Resident Evil 25 the Resident Evil 25 presentation and everything like that, cuz Resident Evil 8 is out at the time of this recording, but it was during the time it was coming out. They showed this big presentation and everything like that, and as a lot of you already know, myself and especially Jess are huge, thick fans of Resident Evil 4. We're like ginormous fans of Resident Evil 4.
Oh my god, I can probably tell you like every part of that game.
Bro, they're like, this is how crazy obsessed we are with this game. Like, I've been playing this game since it came out on the GameCube. As has she. And like when we first got together and everything like that, we were just like randomly one day playing Resident Evil 4, and there would be times where we were showing each other stuff that we knew in the game that the other person had no idea about. Like, legit, there was one point in the game where I was watching her play. It was like right after Leon like enters the village and everything like that. And after you kill the chainsaw guy, there's this one area in the village that you can go to that has like a door with a huge lock on it. And I was just like, she goes up to the door and she starts kicking at it. And I'm like, what are you doing? You can use your knife and you can break the lock. What are you doing? And then she kicks it 3 times and the lock breaks and you can open the door. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't know you could do that. I like legit was just like, what? You can kick the door open? I've been playing this since the GameCube, but I didn't know you could do that. I'm like, what?
What?
Yeah, it's like my world flipped upside down because I didn't know you could kick the door open with the locks on.
Right. I had a few moments of that where you told me like some like where the treasures were. Like I didn't know where some of the treasures were.
And where I showed you like right before you get on the boat with like the lake monster. If you shot at the water, when like the lake monster would pop out if you shot at the water too much.
Oh yeah.
I remember that because it freaked you out so.
I was like, no, hug me, I'm scared. I mean,
and it was because we were playing on the Xbox One version, it clicked an achievement and everything like that, and you're like, what?
I was like, what is that? No, I love Resident Evil 4 because, you know, this is a proven fact, you know, gonna just throw, you know, something out there. That is one of the games that actually brought you and I, you know, together, closer together.
Oh yeah, that was one of the games we did talk about a lot when we first started talking.
When we first started talking before we got together. I mean, that game is so phenomenal. I have memories of going to Blockbuster with my mother, renting the game on GameCube, getting Subway, going home, and half the time I didn't even eat my Subway, I just played the game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember when I first picked it up, I was working at the Walmart warehouse facility. And this was like the first job that I had where I left with like a pretty decent paycheck, and I didn't have any like responsibilities or whatever, and I had like a $1,400 paycheck one time, and I'm just like, holy crap, I've never had this much money in my life. I don't know what to do with it. And I ended up doing what any responsible young adult did. I paid my car payment. I paid my phone bill, and then all that rest of the money was left for me to have. So what did I do? I straight up went to Walmart and went to the video game section, and I just looked at the wall of GameCube games, and I bought like, I just went to the wall and it's like, I want that one. And I want that one, and I want that one. I just pointed at every single one. I felt so bad for the clerk though, because he's just like, oh my god, just pick one and everything like that. It's like, you got me over here picking all these games, you rich motherfucker. It's like, I'm not rich. I just got a really big paycheck and I have responsibilities.
Did he really say that?
He didn't say it, but I saw it on the.
You could tell when
someone's calling you a butthole when they're not actually saying anything. You can see that, like, it's that kind where they're like, they're not biting their bottom lip, but their like teeth are grinding underneath it. So you kind of see that like. And it's just like, man.
You should see his face right now, guys.
It's like, you calling me a butthole right now, and you're trying to act like I'm not seeing that. But yeah, it's like, I got that, and if I remember correctly, I think that day I bought Resident Evil 4, Mario Power Tennis, Simpsons Hit and Run. I think I got Mario Strikers, and I think one other game. But yeah, like, I remember bringing those home, and it's just like, it's one of the coolest feelings when you bring a new game home. And you're just like, I don't know what this experience is going to be like, but dude, I'm so freaking excited to do it. I'm just like, I'm ready to get in. And I remember the first game I opened up was Resident Evil 4, and I didn't open up those other games until I beat Resident Evil 4 like 5 times.
Oh my god.
It's like, I finished Resident Evil 4 and I'm like, I want to play this game again.
That's a fan. That's what I did too. I'm not going to lie.
Because you know a game is good. You know a game is good and you enjoyed it, is like immediately after you finish it, you're just like, I want to play it again.
Yeah, exactly.
I absolutely just want to save my game, jump right back in, and play it again.
It's like, it's one of those games you cannot put down. That's how you know you love it. Or if you memorize it so well.
Oh yeah, that game is just like, you and I know that game like backwards and forth.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
definitely.
like every single time now when we started up, it's like right when Leon's like right in like the forest area, and you're supposed to go up to the house. Instead of us going straight to the house, we turn around, go towards the bridge, and then the guys in the car talk to you and everything like that. It was like, not that way, cowboy, when you're trying to cross the bridge. And then you go to the car and talk to him. It's like, if you forget your makeup or something.
Yeah, that's.
And I'm just like, there's no need for that.
You forget your makeup.
But it's just like, it's because that's in there, and I'm just like, oh my god, there's so many little niche things in Resident Evil 4 that I love. But the main reason why why we went on like maybe like a 5 to 7 minute talk about Resident Evil 4 is, like I was saying, during that presentation they actually announced for VR of all things, which already is nuts. They announced a VR version of Resident Evil 4. And I remember Jess looking at me and she's like, "Oh my god, we have to play this. We have to get it. We have to play it."
Definitely.
And everything. And I was looking at it and I'm like, "Oh, I hope it," because we have the PlayStation VR. So I was hoping it's like, okay, cool. They're just going to port it to PlayStation VR. Good gravy.
Oh, no.
And we're all set. And everything like that, and they're like, "Oh no, it's not coming to PlayStation VR." Again, we don't know. This may change at the time. Like at the time of recording, all we know right now is that it's not coming to PlayStation VR. What it's coming to is the Oculus Quest 2, the Oculus Facebook-owned VR set, and everything like that. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like we were kind of bummed. It's like, it's coming to Oculus. It's just like, dang, that sucks.
I remember that because we were kind of like, we don't really.
It's like, I don't really want to play it, but then we thought about it. It's like, it's Resident Evil 4. It's one of our favorite games of all time, and this is like a completely, absolute new way to play one of our favorite games of all time.
Of course.
So it's just like, we sat there for a little bit, and and almost like clockwork, like this. We looked at each other. It's like, you want to buy an Oculus?
Well, I mean, I know during that, because are you talking about when they announced it for VR, or during the Oculus?
No, it was when they announced it and everything like that.
Because I remember...
Because after they announced it during the Resident Evil showcase, they had like an actual...
showcase for
like
the
a showcase, like
Quest.
event for the Oculus of like games coming out for it. So we were just like, we want to see more about it, but we decided, just like, you know what?
I remember that day specifically because I looked right over at you, and I'm like, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" And you're like, "What's up?" I was like, "We need to go buy a Resident Evil 4 machine."
And straight up, that's what we did that day.
We packed.
We packed up and everything. We went to the store and we straight up went to the clerk and we like an Oculus Quest 2, please. We wanted to say one Resident Evil 4 machine, but we didn't think they'd know what we meant, so we had to say. So we had to say an Oculus 2.
We had to say the proper name, even though we were excited and jumping up and down about a Resident Evil 4 machine, but they wouldn't have understood.
The thing that sucks about it is, like, we got the Oculus Quest 2, and it's sitting in the plastic unopened now. We haven't even opened it yet.
until like Resident Evil 4 comes out.
Yeah, we're kind of just waiting for them to release Resident Evil 4 on the Oculus for us to play it, so just like... Again, we want to use it, but it's like, we kind of want to use it for the main reason we bought it. I know there's a lot of really fun games on the Oculus that you can play right now. There's like Beat Saber and Super Hot, and I think that's it. Because, again, we don't know jack about VR games.
But we're learning.
We're slowly, like the most VR action we've gotten was with the PlayStation VR. And we've used it a lot. Like, we've played some pretty fun games on it. We've played, like, Trevor Saves the Universe. We've played, like, I think it's called, like, Blood and Truth. We're playing, like, Until Dawn, Rush of Blood right now, which is fun. Holy crap, that game's fun.
It's so scary that, like, to me, it's scary because of the clowns.
Yeah, it's a super good time.
I hate clowns.
But, yeah, so we're excited about Resident Evil 4 on Oculus. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be phenomenal.
Continuing on this Resident Evil kick.
Yeah, I would love to talk about something.
Okay, yeah, lay it on us.
Laying it on. I'd love to bring up something we've also inquired, from the third podcast till now. Mm-hmm. So, we actually got very lucky, you guys.
So lucky.
So lucky. I mean, we didn't get lucky, but we got lucky, if that makes sense.
We were up all night to get lucky, as some would say. Ha!
Get up all night to get lucky. Shout outs.
Okay.
So, on to what I was saying. So, we actually were up all night.
We were, actually.
That same day I did get sad news, but what we got actually made everything better. Mm-hmm. So, I was just, going through, doing my daily searching online because every day I love to search for, the Xbox Series S, X, and on the PS5 console just to see if we get lucky.
A little fraction of maybe a glimmer of hope, maybe we could get one.
Right? Crossing fingers. Mm-hmm. So this day, I was just like, come on, please, something good come out of this day because, like I said, I got sad news. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, something, make me happy. Not gonna lie, I searched on Target, out of all places. Mm-hmm. I searched the X, I searched the PlayStation 5, and then I searched the S. No PS5.
Obviously.
No Xbox Series X, obviously. But we got lucky because Xbox Series S was in stock. Mm-hmm. And I looked over at him, and I was like, babe, are you thinking what I'm thinking? He's like, what's up? I was like...
I remember when you said that. He was like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And I'm like, I'm thinking Arby's.
Yeah, exactly. But
no, that's not what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I was like, you don't want Arby's? And I was like, yes, I want Arby's, but that's not what I was going to say. We actually got Arby's that day, too.
We did. But, I looked at him. I was like, you know what? I was like, we'll get Arby's, but we're also getting this S. And he's like, what? I'm like, Target has an Xbox Series S in stock right now. I'm buying it before it runs out. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, I'm going for it. I was typing away. I had to get my wallet, which was across the room, and I literally jumped basically off the couch. I flew to get my wallet. I was like, this is happening.
I blinked, and then you were already back at the couch with your card. I'm like, dang, that was fast.
Well, no, you blinked, and I was already done with the purchase. Mm-hmm. But yes, we got lucky for having our second Resident Evil machine, but this one's for Village.
Yeah, so that was another thing because we knew Village was coming out, and we had already played the demos and everything like that, and we were just like, God, we really want to play this game. And it's like, yeah, we can play it on the PS4 Pro, we can play it on the Xbox One X, But it's like we really kind of want to try and see if we can get a next gen console to play this. And we understand the Series S is not as powerful as the PS5. It's not as powerful as the Series X, but it still gives us that, that next gen experience at a little bit of a discount. It's not a super cheap, but compared to those options, it's cheaper. And for the time being, I think it's a good thing, A lot of people dunk on the S right now because obviously it's all digital and everything like that, and the storage space ain't great. But really, if all we're doing is using it to play like a new next gen game on current hardware, so we can get a more kind of like smoother experience out of it, then why not?
I mean, in my opinion, it's better to have something than nothing.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, we wanted a new gen console, and this was our first step.
Yeah.
We have a new gen console now, and I'm so thankful. Obviously, eventually, one day, we'll try to get the X and the PS5. Maybe.
So we'll check back with us in 2022. We might have some news for you.
Or 2023 at this point.
But yeah, so... we got it. We have it set up and everything like that. It's downloaded on the system and everything. We haven't played it yet, though. At the time of recording this, we haven't actually full-fledged played the game yet.
So keep an eye out.
But we do plan on playing it pretty soon. But yeah, I was super stoked about it. I was really surprised. Like, I know, like, when you see it in videos and everything like that, it's like, yeah, it's small and everything like that compared to everything, but it's not up until you actually, like, look at it and hold it for yourself, you actually realize how small this system is.
But it's so beautiful.
Oh, yeah. There's something about, like, the white base of it with just that big black circle in it where the fan is. I don't know why, but for some reason, I find it really aesthetically pleasing. I don't know why, but it just, like, it really just, it stands out. I don't know why, but I really like it. But,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still a little sad that we didn't get the collector's edition of Village.
Again, we've gone on many rants about GameStop before, and I'm not going to full floor go into a rant about GameStop right now, but I'm going to complain just a little bit, just a tiny little incy squeezy little bit about GameStop real quick.
Small.
Okay, so one thing myself and Jess here really, really like is if a collector's edition for a game comes out, any game at all, if a collector's edition for a game comes out that we really, really are invested into, or a game that we really, really want, and there's a collector's edition that actually, like, comes out that just like, oh my god, that looks super cool, I would love to own that, we go out of our way to try to get it. We tried to do it with Resident Evil 2. Unfortunately, we didn't get so lucky. We did it for Resident Evil 3. For some odd reason, we did it for Last of Us 2.
I mean, that day, it's just because they had extra stock in that one randomly.
We decided randomly one day to pick Last of Us 2 up, and then there's like, hey, we have extra collector's editions. Do you guys want one? One Last of Us collector's edition, please. But yeah, we have that one, but specifically with Resident Evil, since we're both big fans of it, we really wanted to get the collector's edition for Resident Evil 8. And again, when the pre-orders for the collector's edition from GameStop, because apparently GameStop was the only one that was going to have them, which I really freaking hate, apparently GameStop was going to be the only one distributing the collector's editions. There was no tweet, there was no mention, there was no nothing when those pre-orders for that collector's edition went live. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm on Twitter god dang near every single day.
Almost every second of every day.
And for the life of me, I did not see any kind of announcement about when those pre-orders went live.
I did not either.
So we took it upon ourselves, because obviously we really wanted to get it. Anytime we would go to GameStop, we would ask, are you taking pre-orders on it? Are you taking pre-orders on it? And every time it was like, no, we're not taking pre-orders yet. No, we're not taking pre-orders yet. And then finally, I see like a post about it on Twitter and everything like that. And it's from GameStop's Twitter and everything like that, saying, oh, you can now pre-order, the collector's edition of Resident Evil Village. So we go up to our GameStop and it's like, we'd like to pre-order it. And it's like, oh, we're all out. I'm like, my dude, how many did you freaking have that you're all out?
I mean, I know there are a limit amount of them.
Of course, I understand.
Which, of course, it's
that's understandable. But it's
but
like,
the thing is, I like to point out, because the local GameStop we go to, we ask them, because we ask
daily almost.
Yeah, we frequently asked about the collector's edition.
It's like, we even said, it's like, hey, if one becomes available, will you... Which was our first mistake.
That was our first
It's like, hey, would you call us and let us know when they're available?
We gave our name and number, and we're like, hey, if it becomes available to pre-order, please call us and let us know, please.
And
I swear. There's one specific person that used to work there. I miss him so freaking much.
I think any GameStop, like any good, let me rephrase that, any good GameStop you go to always has that one associate that you know and that you talk to the most, and it's like, when I go to this store, this is the person that I want to give my business to, because they're trustworthy, they actually know what they're doing, and they actually help you when you need help. Now that person's not there, our local GameStop is garbage. It got to the point. It got to the point now where we don't even go to our local GameStop anymore.
Exactly. We made the decision to just drive the extra 5 to 10 minutes to go to another GameStop where we do know the people.
Yeah.
And hopefully, cross fingers, knock on wood, that no one there leaves, but we rather go there.
Yeah.
Or, drive a little further out to go to a different GameStop that I've known someone since about 2015, 16. Amazing man, by the way. He's always
looking out for us and hooking us up with stuff or letting us know about like deals or pre-orders that are going out. Because the only reason, again, and I'm not trying to bash anybody at our local GameStop, but it's like, as of right now, like, another pre-order that we've been trying to get that we have had no luck whatsoever getting is the Monster Hunter Stories 2 amiibos. And at the moment right now, you can only get one of them through the collector's edition. And guess what? You can't pre-order the collector's edition. No. Even though GameStop and Capcom have said you can pre-order the collector's edition now from GameStop, they're available for pre-order. We've attempted to pre-order this freaking stupid collector's edition for this. I'm trying so hard not to swear right now. This collector's edition multiple times, and all we hear is, "Oh, they're not ready for pre-order yet. They're not available for pre-order yet. They're not." And I think was when we decided this is like our last straw with this GameStop, when we went there and we asked, are they available now? Because they finally said, hey, you can pre-order them now. Oh, we're all out. We didn't get any pre-orders. You can't pre-order it.
Well, no, what they said was we
I'm
had...
all flustered.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You were right on track. But what he actually said to our face was, we had pre-orders, but they're already all gone. Mm-hmm. It's like, my friend.
It's like, how many of those collector's editions did you have?
It wasn't even it was the amiibos. The amiibos. He's like, we had them, but now they're not for pre-order anymore. They're all gone. Mm-hmm. So I got a hold of my buddy that I know from GameStop, and he told me that they haven't gone a pre-order yet. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's what drew the straw for me, was you lied to my face. And you're being rude to us, don't expect us to come back.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is, I love good customer service. I understand people have bad days.
Yeah.
They have stressful days. I get you're going to be in a mood or whatever, but if you're going to be rude to me, don't expect me to come back to your
stuff. And I'll reiterate with this too. It's like, I understand, because again, myself and Jess, we've both worked at GameStops before. We know what it's like. We've worked in retail before. We know what it's like. We know what it's like.
Food before.
We know what it's like when you've had a bad day. We know what it's like when you've dealt with stuff outside of work, and then you got to deal with everybody else's drama or horrible customers and stuff like that while you're at work. Yes, it can put you on edge and everything like that. Yes, it can rub you the wrong way, and yes, it might leave you in a bad mood. But that doesn't mean, because those things are happening to you, that you have to take that out and reflect that towards a customer who is simply just trying to ask you about a product that they want to purchase. And they're not even being rude, because we weren't being rude. We were being we're being, again, because like I said, we know what that's like. We know what it's like to work in that kind of environment. We know what it's like to have bad days and then still have to go into work and then deal with that stuff.
We're not going to be those dragons breathing down your neck expecting things.
But we're like, even with that though, we know if a customer is coming to you calmly and being very polite and professional about it and everything like that, and you're just going to blatantly be rude to them and then not help them whatsoever, you kind of have a reason to be like, I don't need to come back to this location.
Yeah, and we've given them multiple shots. Multiple. And that's the thing that just, like, drove me over the edge, is because they've sold pre-orders of ours. They've lied to our face.
Which we've mentioned in the podcast before.
Yes, we have. And it was the last straw. It's like, I don't want to pit up with something like that. And, you know, it's like, I wish the one, you know, guy that worked there that we know was still there, because I would go back in a heartbeat if he was there. Absolutely. But since he's gone, it's like, I don't see a point of it.
Yeah, that's why we've actually just took it upon ourselves, is like, we'd rather go somewhere to a different location where we know the people that are there. They'll treat us the way we like, you know, the way that, you know, that you're supposed to treat a customer and everything like that. And we actually appreciate the service that they provide.
Exactly. And mom and pop stores are beautiful as well.
Shout outs to mom and pop places, man.
Definitely, small businesses.
It's like small businesses are legit the bread and butter of society when it comes to retail, man. Just like, don't sleep on a mom and pop shop.
Exactly.
I'm saying that right
and with
now.
This pandemic, it's not gone yet.
Support your local businesses.
Yes, support your local small businesses. They deserve it.
Like the good ones, not the places that are just like, hey, we sell bagels and we sell them for $40 a pop. And it's like, no, the local business like that can go eat one. But
trust me, that $40 bagel is not worth it, and that $40 coffee is not worth it either.
Exactly. But
you know what I'm talking about.
But okay, enough about the GameStop rant.
Enough about ranting.
So one thing I want to say right now, I actually took it upon myself because I wanted to be nice and a good boyfriend, and I like spoiling my lady here. As most of you know, my beautiful lady here, she's a League of Legends aficionado. She frequents the game quite often.
Huge. I've been playing since 2013.
Yeah. And she
thanks to Ren.
She like collects like figures and stuff like that from the game, whether it be plushes, small plushes, Funko Pops or whatever. If it's based around a champion that she uses. See, I said champion this time. I didn't say hero.
I was actually you're talking about what I was just about to bring up.
Oh yeah, I know you.
Same wavelength.
Save Waylick. There you go.
High five.
But yeah, so like they actually have like these series of statues right now on Riot's like merch site, and they recently released one of one of the champions that you like are a big fan of. I think it's Misfortune.
Yeah, it's one of my
right?
Yeah, it's one of my major mains because I have a few. I know, you know, I like to play ADC Misfortune a lot. I love to play Ari.
But Riot decides to like have a be back soon on that freaking statue.
Right?
Bring it back, Riot.
Please, Riot, please bring the Ari statue back. I really want it.
I understand that she's again, myself, I don't know jack about League of Legends. I don't know nothing. But all I know is that girl with like the 6 tails in her butt is...
It's 9 tails.
I don't fucking care. All I know is that she's super popular. As far as I know, she's super popular because I see a bunch of hooches cosplaying her and stuff like that.
A lot of them are popular, but yes, they just released a Misfortune statue.
But regardless of the point, they released a Misfortune statue, and I remember her seeing it. And she's just like, and at the time she saw it, it was time for bills, so we couldn't buy anything fun and everything like that. And she just like, and then the worst part about it is, it temporarily went out of stock. I remember that because you got so bummed out about it because just like, it's out of stock. I'm not going to be able to get it, and everything like that. And I'm like, damn it. I got to figure out a way to see if I can make this happen before I didn't want it to go the way of the Ari statue essentially for you. So what I ended up doing, I took it upon myself to use my magical boyfriend powers that I possess. Whap. That's a high five right there.
High five.
And I took it upon myself to figure out a way to make sure that I got notified when the statue was back and available. And thankfully, this statue actually came back in stock fairly quickly.
Faster than the Ari
way
one.
faster than the Ari statue. The Ari statue is non-existent at this point.
I mean, the Ari statue's like bigger than the Misfortune one, so that's
I don't
probably
care
why
if
it's
it's
taking
10
a
feet
minute.
tall, 3 feet tall, or 2 feet tall. If this thing ain't in stock, then it doesn't exist anymore.
But
Anyway.
what made it even worse is like when I would get on Facebook, even Twitter, even Instagram,
I
it
hate
would
that.
be there,
I hate
just
that.
in my face.
There's nothing more that I hate than it's like when you see something that you really want to get and you can't get it, and the second that you go on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and then just boom, there's an ad for that exact item that you want to remind you, you will never get this.
It's like always
It's like,
there.
you're a jagoff, first of all. But
I mean, that's like the freaking King Poro plush.
Which
Which
that's another can of worms for another podcast that I don't want to bring up right now. But regardless, I finally got the notification. I had a little money put to the side, and I was like, "Hey, she's a good woman. She's pretty. I like the way she looks in certain pairs of pants. So I'm gonna take it upon myself to treat this woman right and give her something that she wants." So I took it upon myself and I used a little extra money to the side that I had. I bought her the statue. She didn't know it was coming. And then just randomly one day, she was sitting on the couch, doing her thing. And then like I heard the FedEx truck, and she's like, "What's going on? What is it?" And I'm like, "I'll be right back. Just let me go check it." "But I want to go with the..." And
I didn't say that day.
Sometimes it's very hard for me to go and surprise this woman because I don't.
Hey, that's not true though.
The main reason why is because I don't like to hide things from you.
Yeah.
But when I want to surprise you, I'm like,
well, that day, like you're wrong because that day I did not say that. I was just sitting here doing
you gave me
things.
that look though.
Not that day.
Denial. Anyway.
Not denial.
Anyway.
That day I just sat here. I didn't even hear the truck. I just looked at you. I was like, "What's going on?" You're like, "I'll be right back." I'm like, "Okay."
So when it got here, and everything like that, I grabbed it. I brought it to her. She was sitting on the couch, and she's like, "Well, what was it?" And I just straight up just handed her the big box with the Riot merch sticker on, like tape on it and everything like that. And she's like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "It's a box. Open it."
And I was like, "Okay."
And then she opens it up, and then just BAM! All up in her face. And I got the greatest reward that any fulfilling boyfriend should get when they get their significant other, like that one special thing or something that they've been wanting. You get that sparkling little glow smile that just fills the room. It's just super happy, and just that joyous smile that she gave me, and it made me feel like $1,000,000.
Books.
Because it's just like that's for me. It's like I love buying things for myself. Everybody does.
Oh,
but
yeah,
when
definitely.
when you buy something for somebody that you really care about, or somebody that you love, or somebody who just matters so freaking much to you, and you get them something, especially if they don't expect it, and you see just that surprise, that joy, just hit them like that, like just like a sack of potatoes, you're just like, it's like, dude, that feeling is just like, that's just top notch emotion right there. It feels so freaking good.
Potatoes.
And it's just like, I saw just the joy on your face and everything. It made me so happy, and I'm just like, yes, I did it.
No, that day I was like, because it was not what I was expecting. I was not expecting that. It was a complete shock and surprise to me. It's like I tried so hard not to cry happy tears, but I was so happy.
Yeah.
Especially the day you got the other two statues I actually have, because my man loves me. He knows how much I love League, so he goes out and he tries to get things,
It's really fun for a guy who knows nothing about the game.
About the game.
About the game that that she loves so much.
I mean,
and I try to buy a merch for it, and I'm like, oh.
which one? It's like the parents and Pikachu all over again.
That's what it felt like. I was like, I don't know, give me the Pikachu one. I don't know.
But luckily, it's like I do mention the name, so I think that helps you more because you're like, she said this name, so you just.
And I do what any good boyfriend does. I listen. There's your information and fact of the day for your relationship advice, fellas. You want to make your woman happy? You listen. You do that?
Oh, yeah.
It takes you far. It takes you far.
I mean, the same goes for women. Just listen to your man; it will take you far too. Because in any relationship, it shouldn't just be only the woman happy.
It's not
the man
one-sided,
should be
folks.
Exactly. Both
It's
people
a
should be happy.
50-50 partnership.
50-50. That's why I love surprising you a lot too, because that shine in your eyes and like you just get so excited and so happy.
Which you did surprise me with something actually. You actually, because as she knows, the Dreamcast is one of my favorite systems of all time. Of all time.
All time.
She actually took it upon herself because she knows I love the Dreamcast, but she knows I hate the Dreamcast controller. I hate it. I love the system to tears. It is such a good console, but God, that controller is such garbo. It is such a garbage controller, but I love the system. And much like the N64 controllers that she got for me from like Retro Fighter and Retrobit.
Shout out.
And I'll get into them in just a second. But much like them, she found out that they actually have one for the Dreamcast called the Striker DC. And she's like, and she just straight up rolls up and be like, boom, I got you this controller for the Dreamcast. Hopefully you like it. And I'm like, first of all, I didn't even know that they made this. So I'm just like, wait, hold up. They make a Dreamcast controller?
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, they make one. And I'm like, how did you find out about this? And I'm like, I looked it up on the internet. Straight up said that I looked it up on the internet. And I'm like, that's adorable. That's adorable.
On the interwebs.
and then like I tried it out, dude. It's so nice. The control stick isn't garbage. The hand, it feels like a regular controller. The VMUs fit in nice. It doesn't have a 2-foot cord, so I can actually like use it at a length and everything. It's gorgeous. I love it. It's such a good controller. But one of the things I want to point out real quick, real quick.
Yes,
and
definitely.
I want to shout out Retro Fighters real quick.
Please.
Okay, so
big shout out.
As most of you know, for those who follow me on Twitter, when she got me the Brawler 64, which was their like take on like a modernized look of the N64 controller. She picked one up for me, and when we got it and everything, like I freaking loved it. It was just like It's to the point now where I almost religiously just use that controller when I'm playing N64 games.
This is true.
And we got it. I had it for about like 9 months. And just randomly out of the blue, like I noticed when I would play anything like Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, just any game that would require like 3D movement, I noticed when I would just push forward on the analog stick, it would just not register an input. Or to the point where it would just like dead zone right there. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Which is not good.
It's not good because I was just like, did something happen to the controller? Did I do something wrong? And everything like that. And I was just like, I was confused because it's like, again, we only had the controller for about 9 months. And I'm just like, what is going on? So I took it upon myself before I did anything. I took a little video and I actually tweeted out to the folks at Retro Fighters being like, hey, and it wasn't me mad or anything like that. It's like, I love these controllers. They're wonderful. They're fantastic. But I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's something on my end. I don't know if there's like, you know, like a defect on it or something like that. And I asked them, what can I do to fix this issue? And like, almost like clockwork, they instantly like responded back to me and just like, hey, here's the email for our like support line and everything like that. Contact them and they'll let you know what to do. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I sent them an email, showed them the video, let them know what was going on. And then immediately, like, I think within like the day. They sent me a return email saying, "Hey, it looks like, your controller's defective. We'll go ahead and send you a new one." And everything
Just
like
need
that.
an address.
Just need an address and everything like that, and we'll send you a new one.
That same day, folks.
The same day. And I'm like, wait, hold up. Is it like, and I was making sure I read the email right. It's like, you're going to send me a new one? Because again, in the email, I didn't say I need a new controller. In the email, I didn't say like, hey, I want a refund or anything like that. I'm just saying, is there anything I can do?
But they went a step above
and absolutely,
for the customer.
Absolutely, completely not necessary, but they went out of their way, straight up just sent me a brand new controller. Took like 2 days to get here.
So, yeah, well, almost. It was like a day and a half, honestly. It was so quick.
So quick, super responsive.
Big shout outs and thank you so much, Retroviters. Thank you. You guys are phenomenal.
And
phenomenal
just like,
company.
I will sing their praises till the end of time because it's just that good.
To the end of time.
But yeah, so just wanted to just take the time and just say that the guys from Retro Fighters, super awesome, super, super dope. Really, again, we're not sponsored by them or anything like that. They didn't pay us to say any of this stuff or whatever.
No, they didn't.
I know everybody on the internet who has a sponsored video says that or whatever, but I can tell you, our channel is super small, so there's no way we would ever have like a sponsorship at the moment right now.
But you should definitely check their stuff out. But
yeah, if you like modern style like controllers, accessories, whatever it is for like your retro systems, absolutely check them out. They're very, again, I'm not going to recommend something that I don't use and I actually genuinely stand behind it, but yeah. Absolutely 100% check them out. They're really, really good.
Take the time, if you have any time in your day, to just, check them out. Mm-hmm. Or even if you already bought something from them and you haven't reviewed them yet, please,
shout them out on Twitter. If you use their stuff and you like it, shout them out on Twitter.
Shout them out. They're incredible. Mm-hmm. Incredible.
But, yeah.
I mean, I know we brought up Pikachu. Mm-hmm. I did want to bring up something we did recently get, too.
Okay.
Snap, Snap.
Oh, yeah, we bought Pokemon Snap. We got new Pokemon Snap.
Yes, we got the Snap of the Pokemon.
Dude, I've been having so much fun with that game.
I've been having so much fun watching you take a million pictures.
It's just, it's such a simple concept about that game. There's not a lot of, like, hard work put in, like, well, I will say this, as far as, like, hard work, just to put that out there, this game looks so much better than Sword and Shield.
It's so calming.
It's such a relaxing game. It's cute. I think that's...
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think if you were to like describe that game in one word, it would be cute. Because again,
or unique.
I'm a thick boy. I'm a full-grown man. And I will not deny the fact that I sit there and I play that game sometimes and I'm like, dude, this game's just cute. This game's cute.
It's phenomenal.
What? I'm over here looking at a freaking like Groki eating an apple, and I'm like, dude, I'm having the time of my life.
That's adorable.
I'm having the time of my life right now. This is great. This is a fun game. And yeah, it's super fun. I haven't finished it yet. I'm kind of like taking my time with it because I don't want to just like play, then burn it out. And I'm like, okay, next game. It's just like there are certain games that I do want to take my time
as
with.
your backlog games just stare at you like, yo, when you gonna play us?
My backlog is staring daggers at me right now.
They're probably like, hey, thick boy, play us.
It's just like, thick boy, this backlog's getting thick. Work on it.
Work on it.
Work. But it's like, yeah, we got that, and it's like we're also collecting games for the PS2 now, which that's already starting to backlog me.
I mean, here soon we're gonna be collecting games for the PS3, which is also going to be more of a backlog.
I think honestly, what I may end up doing instead of collecting games for it, I think honestly I just might get games digitally for PS3. Okay. One, because I've been looking at some game prices for PS3 games. They're stupid expensive. It's like the PS3 is not even that old. It's like I think I looked for a copy of like 3D Dot Hero for PS3, some kind of like niche game that came out for it or whatever. That game's like $200. And I'm like,
$200?
Yeah, $200.
What?
And I'm like, again, I get it. And then it's like, I know not a lot of people played it. I know it wasn't super popular, but it kind of grew that like cult following.
You can get 3 games for just $100 more.
Yeah.
And it's a serious.
It's kind of like the whole like the Tulip thing and Mr. Mosquito and stuff like that on PlayStation 2.
I think it was.
It's like these very niche games that no one's ever heard of, but then they grew like kind of this weird cult following to the point where it's just like the physical copy of the original game itself is just going to skyrocket in price.
Wasn't it Fatal Frame? Am I saying that one right? You can get the 3 for literally.
I hope those are still available.
Just $100 more.
Dude, I want to get those so bad. It's like
bad.
all like I think it was like the first 3 Fatal Frame games on
1,
PlayStation 2.
3, PlayStation 2.
Oh. Yeah, because right now again, Fatal Frame is pretty popular. It's like I would say it's not on like Silent Hill or Resident Evil levels of popularity, but if given to the right people or if it promoted properly enough, it would be.
There's also one thing you did just recently by me that I've been addicted to nonstop.
What's that?
So, everyone has their way.
I forget the things that I buy you. I'm such a good person.
Everyone has their way of dealing with, anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I love dealing with, I remember looking at it and you'd be like, this, I want this because I know it's going to help me.
Mm-hmm.
So, you went online. You searched Animal Crossing adult coloring book.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And yeah, you got me.
You were literally doing that before we started recording.
Exactly.
I was put the colored pencils away.
Yeah,
we gotta record.
I had to put my book and coloring pencils down. But yes, he ordered me
2.
2 Animal Crossing adult coloring books with colored pencils. And yeah, some people are probably like, isn't coloring for kids? Not really.
Listen, stupid. If it de-stresses you, it's for anybody.
Exactly. It's something that can help someone de-stress, someone with their anxiety.
Yeah. Everybody has their own like their own like notch thing that helps them. Is like, this is what I use to like decompress, just chill and relax.
And if anyone out there is currently still trying to search for there's something that might help, try the coloring books. They may help you.
Mm-hmm. Or do what I do. Do what I do. If you because one of the things I like to do, besides obviously like playing games and stuff, one thing that I've been doing as of late is as like a fun hobby, if you're able to, and if you have a little bit of knowledge in it, what I've been doing, I've been like putting things together and taking things apart. Like I've been doing like console repairs and everything like that. Like we recently bought like a screen for a PlayStation Vita that we had that which like it's just been sitting in a drawer with a broken screen for like years. I think since like 2013.
I think it was 2013.
Yeah, it was like because I looked
yeah.
I looked at the last time after we fixed it. Like the last time it was used was back in 2013, and it's just been sitting in a drawer, just never being used. And I'm like, I looked at it one day and I'm like, you know what? I want to fix this thing. It was like just randomly out of the blue. And I was like, I want to see if I can fix this thing. So I ordered a screen and everything like that. Sat down on like the desk and where we do our recordings and stuff like that. Put down my work mat and everything like that. And I'm like, all right, let's crack this sucker open and see if I can fix it.
And that's exactly what we did.
Straight up, I think it took me like about, I want to say like an hour and a half, maybe an hour, 45 minutes.
So like a little over an hour.
Yeah, it's a little bit over an hour plus. And I put it back together, closed it up. And I just like, because here's one thing. When I do like repairs or when I work on something, I typically don't like to look up walkthroughs or like tutorials on how to do it, because I feel like, because I already have a history of like repairing things. Obviously, because that's what you and I did for a good long while. We did device repairs. And just to make sure that I still have like the somewhat base knowledge of that in my head, I like to work on something before I actually look it up. Especially if I have like a general knowledge of how like to take it apart, put it back together and everything like that. And I remember like the entire process was not difficult. The only process of that whole repair that I did, what was the most difficult, I dropped one screw and I'm like, God dang it. I dropped one screw and I'm like, this repair is completely ruined. I don't even want to work on it anymore. I'm done. And then he's like, oh, I found it. I'm like, all right, back to work.
I remember that exactly because you were about to give up. I was like, Why don't you move your goofy, silly butt aside? I'll find this for you. And what did I do?
It didn't even take you long. You just like looked down where I was sitting. It was like, I found it.
And you're just like, you're a G.
And I'm like, I love you.
I love you.
And then I got back to work on it and closed it all up, powered it on, power's on. Now we have officially 2 full functioning working Vitas. Now we just need to get some games for them.
For real.
But I would like to point this out right now. The Vita has been out for a hot second. Sony has given up on it completely. They're not doing jack with it. I know there's some indie developers making games for it. But screw the price of that freaking memory card on that thing, by the way. Like, dude.
For real.
I looked for a 64 gig memory card for the Vita. No joke. About $150. It's like, it's a memory card. It's not an SSD for the Series X and the freaking PS5. It's a memory card for the freaking Vita. It's like, nope, it's about $160 because Sony decided to be stupid, like sometimes Sony do, and be like, we're only making these designated, memory sticks for this thing. If you want to save your games, if you want to download games, you have to have this thing specifically. And it's just like, it's dumb, I hate it, and I don't like it.
And which is, it's a stinky.
It's a stinky.
It's a stinky.
But, yeah. But, so that, like as we were actually saying before I went on that little tangent right there, fine, yeah, you never know what could be, like, your ultimate decompressor. Like, you're just, like, you have so much on your mind, you're stressed out, you're just like, I just want something that'll just turn my brain off. I just feel good while I'm doing it, and I don't think about anything else.
I mean, you can try something we mentioned, try music, try, a movie, a show, maybe even...
Modeling with clay?
Or maybe even a nice, relaxing bubble bath.
Dude, bubble bath sounds awesome.
So, anything, just try it on, see what helps you.
Because I know
just remember, you're phenomenal.
A lot of people want to know, like, what can I do? What can be my thing? Like, what can be the thing that I know that if I do this, I'll feel good. I'll feel calm. And really, it's just like, it's not an easy answer. You can't just be like, oh, it's this. Perfect. You gotta experiment. You gotta try things.
Definitely, because
sometimes you will have to step out of your comfort zone, which I know for some people that's not easy.
It's hard.
It's like even now,
for us, for instance,
for yourself and myself, I know we both suffer from anxiety. We have high anxiety, and it's hard sometimes. Like especially just trying anything new. Like anxiety is such a hard thing, and one of the things that I think what a lot of people come to issue with when it comes to wanting to try new things is you instantly start thinking, I'm going to try this, but what if I'm not good at it?
Yeah.
And I think really what that boils down to is like, that's the one thing I feel like with anybody, regardless of what it is you're trying to do, that's what you need to look at and just like, that's what you don't focus on.
Exactly. I mean, anxiety, it reminds me of pollen a little. It's your worst enemy.
And it's always around when you don't want it.
Exactly. It's like, that's what I was going to bring up. It's like, anxiety is something that you can't control, like, pollen. Mm-hmm. But anxiety is something that it comes even when you don't expect it. Mm-hmm. It just comes randomly. Yeah. And unfortunately, the real best way to deal with it is just finding something that's going to make you happy. That's what you have to focus on. Just make yourself happy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to make people around you happy. Yeah, you want to make your family happy. Yeah, you want to make your loved one happy. But you have to make yourself happy. You are important.
It's a good way to look at it. It's like life is a journey for everyone.
Exactly.
But you need to focus on your journey.
You need to go on your own path. You have to figure out your own
And the only way that you're going to go on that journey is you're going to have to do things and you're going to have to try things that maybe sometimes you wouldn't necessarily do. You have to, because a lot of people, when they find that one thing that is like, this is my thing. This is what I like to do. Exactly. Or this is what makes me happy. Once you figure out what that is, it's such a unique experience for yourself.
Of course
Because
it
most
is.
people want to do is like, oh, well, I'll just do what some of my friends do, or I'll do what someone mentioned to me, and everything. And then you try it, and you're just like, I don't really. It's not doing it for me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't like it.
I mean, that's because everyone's different.
Like when I'm doing, and
They're
then you could be
unique.
like, when I'm doing it with my friends and stuff like
Yeah.
that, I'm having fun. Obviously,
course.
because it's one of those things. Positivity is infectious.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you're around a lot of people and they're doing something and it's making them happy, you're gonna feel happy about it too.
Because they're happy.
But when they're not around and you're doing it and it's not making you happy, then you're gonna start to realize that it's not the activity that you're doing that's making you happy. It's that environment that's making you happy.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why we're saying, like, when we say, like, if you need to find that thing that makes you happy, you need to find it because it's going to be what you do. Everybody has their one thing, or everybody has their multiple things.
And you won't know what your thing is until you try.
And trust me, and believe me when I say this, myself and Jess both can agree on this. Finding that thing is not easy.
It's not.
And making the first step towards that thing is not easy.
It's one of the hardest things you have to do.
But the one thing you really need to look at, you need to focus on is you need to ask yourself, how important is my happiness to me?
Yeah.
And am I willing to take a step into my like journey to find my happiness, or that one thing that I know that will always make me happy? Because it's not going to be something that you're just going to be like, I'm going to try this. It's going to make me happy. Boom. It's one of those things. It's, in a weird way, it's kind of like life. You're going to have experiences. You're going to have things that normally, sometimes they're going to be amazing. Sometimes they're just going to suck.
This is like something we were talking about in the car on the ride home today. Not everyone's perfect. No one's perfect.
If people
We're all human.
it's like there's
We all make mistakes.
Exactly. And I was telling her, like, because we were saying, it's like everybody has flaws, and that's what makes us perfect. Because you want to think, just like, how does that make sense? Because think about it. If somebody was perfect, everybody would look at that person and be like, there's something wrong with that person.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at that, and you're going to look at that person as like, this person's perfect, they don't have an issue in the world, there's clearly something wrong with them. But they look at somebody with flaws and insecurities, or just someone who just doesn't really know what's them. It's like, that's just a regular guy. It's just a normal dude. And just like, because it's not easy to know what you want.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But the best part about it is, out of all this, the best part about all of this is, when you find that thing, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It really is.
I almost want to say it's life-changing, but...
I mean, sometimes in a sense it is life-changing.
But it's the thing about it is, it's just like, you won't really know what that feeling is until you figure out what that feeling is for you. And I think really that's what it boils down to. You do that, you find that thing that makes you happy, that makes you. You're soaring, you're flying, you're doing great things.
You're taking your wings and, like you said, you're flying away. You're making yourself happy.
Yeah. See, we could talk about serious things, and then we could talk about fart jokes sometimes.
And we could talk about emotional things.
Exactly. This is why it's Untitled, man.
This is the kind of stuff you're gonna get.
We mention it every podcast, almost. But this is what makes it good.
I love fart jokes.
And I like talking about my feelings sometimes.
So do I. But before we head on off, did you want to do what we do in every podcast?
Every podcast, we will ask each other a question.
Every podcast. So if you have any questions,
it is the Untitled question time.
If you have any questions you want us to ask one another, leave it in the comments below, please. Now we're going to get to the Untitled question time.
Untitled questions. This means that these questions have no subject. They have no real, like, thought into them. We just randomly just think of something to ask each other, and then we just ask them.
I mean, sometimes we'll write it down, and sometimes we'll just pull it out of our butt. But let's get to it.
Who's going to ask first? You want to ask first, or you want me to ask first?
I will let you ask first.
Okay.
Unless you can't think of one, and I'll ask.
I will ask first.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'll answer first.
My question for you...
Of course, my answer for you.
What was one thing from your childhood to adulthood that you could say that you saw, heard or was told that was just the absolute scariest thing you've ever seen? Like a fake thing, not like a real thing. Like someone just made something up to you and it just scared the utter bejeebus out of you. It's like someone just made something up and it just scared you to death.
Oh, this is easy. I mean, one thing it being, because I can combine those all together. This is really easy for me, though, because, it might be hard for you to believe this, but at one point in my life, I was terrified of horror movies. I did not like horror movies at all. I mean, now I love them. But when I was younger, I remember my brothers and my mom, they be into horror movies. There was this one in particular, Chucky.
Child's Play?
Child's Play, yes, Chucky.
The first one or just like in general?
I think it was the first one, but then it started becoming a general thing.
The first one's so hokey, though.
Yeah, I know. I don't
like,
remember.
you go back and look at it now, and it's just like, I get what you mean, though. Yeah.
But it played out through each one that was made afterwards, but it started with the first one. So my brothers thought they had this clear idea. We're going to scare a little sister. This is going to be awesome. Let's do it. So they went through the process because, I was a kid. I'm like, what's this? What are you guys watching? And me being a kid, I got intrigued. I'm like, let me go ahead and just, sit down on the couch and watch. I couldn't sleep that night. So I couldn't sleep at all. I remember my brothers being like, just go to sleep, get some sleep. Otherwise Chucky's going to come and get you. I'm like, what? And then the very next day I was like, why were you guys saying that? And they kept telling me, you don't know? I was like, what? They're like, that whole movie, Chucky, he's a real thing. He's real. And me being a little kid, I'm like, what? I was like, you're kidding me, right? And they're like, no. And like literally, ever since they said that, they would make jokes. They would try to play it out like he was in the room and whatever. And like, my mind was messing with me even as a kid because I started seeing Chucky because of that.
Oh, man.
And that just terrified me so much. And like, I couldn't sleep a lot of times. And like, I would crawl to my mom's bed and be like, I can't sleep. I'm scared. And literally as soon as I had a talk with my mom because she asked me, what's scaring you? What's wrong? The very next day, my brothers they got it. My mom's like, why the F are you telling this to your little sister? Exactly. Like, she just went off on my brothers because she's like, why would you guys do this? Now you have her not being able to sleep at night. She's younger than you. She needs to sleep. And
but it was funny.
Exactly. But yeah, that's why.
Great. Wow.
Right. That's why I could combine it all. But yeah, that's just.
That's so funny.
Right? Now I love Chucky though. So my question to you, I actually loved that question. And I gave my example, so I kind of want to hear yours. Like, I have the same question for you one time.
What's something that somebody told me that scared me?
Yeah, like told you or like you seen.
Oh, something, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have to.
I love the question. That's why I brought it up myself. Because normally I ask a different question.
Yeah.
But I love the question so much, and I love talking about, giving my answer, that I want to know your answer to it, too.
Okay, I remember.
All right. Oh, gosh.
Okay. So, for those people who don't know, there is a movie called Look Who's Talking 2. And it stars John Travolta and Kirstie Alley. And they have a little boy, and in the sequel, Look Who's Talking 2, which is the movie I'm referencing, they're having a little girl. And throughout the movie, they're doing all this stuff, preparing for the baby. But with the first child that they had, he's getting a little older, they're teaching him stuff, and one of the things they have to teach him is, they have to potty train him, teach him how to use the potty and everything like that. There's a scene in the movie because the kid, he's afraid of the toilet for some reason, and
oh my gosh, I can already see where
there's
this
a
is
scene
going.
in the movie where he's like, he hears noises and stuff like that, and he goes to look, and then the toilet is just like this nasty looking monster toilet. And he's just scaring this kid, and he's like, "Hey, give me some pee-pee. I want some pee-pee. Give me some pee-pee." And he's got like blue water coming out of his mouth and everything like that. And then there's this part, if I remember it correctly, he goes, is like, "I'm not going to let you sleep until you get some pee-pee." And then the kid just wakes up and he's screaming. And I don't know what happened or what was going through my mind, but that scared the living crap out of me to the point where I was afraid to use the toilet.
Oh, that's great. That is so...
Like, and I'm not even kidding, for a solid week, I would not use the toilet. Like, my parents were wondering if there was something wrong with me, because every time, like, I had to go to the bathroom, I would run outside. I would run outside and just, like, pop a squat out there or just let it rip right outside. And it got worse. It got worse because I was, like, we went to, like, a family member's house for the weekend. And it was, I think it was, like my uncle or my cousin's birthday, and we were there, and I told like my cousins about it and everything like that, and it's like, I saw this movie, this scary toilet and everything like that. It's like a monster and it's real, and and then they decided to be all like, "Oh, we're gonna mess with him now. We have to mess with him."
Oh gosh.
Can't believe I'm saying this on this podcast right now. So, like, they were saying, it's like, "Oh, we have one of those toilets here too." It's like, "That's why we don't use it." And I'm like, "What? For real? You guys have one too?" And then they're like, "Yeah." And then it's like, and then I try to be cool about it. I'm like, "No, you don't." And then it's like, "Yeah, we do." And then it's like, "Oh, for real, I'm going to go look." I don't know why I said that, because I was already terrified to do it. But what they decided to do was play a trick on me, because right on the outside of where the toilet is, there's like a window. And like you can hear like the outside, like from the outside from the bathroom. So I was going into the bathroom to look and see if the toilet was like really a monster or whatever. And then as I was looking, one of my cousins was on the other outside of there. And then as I'm looking, they're like, "Give me some pee-pee." And I'm like,
You screamed again.
and I'm like,
Yes, boys and girls, that was Ben screaming.
Oh, God.
Once again.
So I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? And everything like that. And again, I'm a gullible wiener, because I believe pretty much anything they were telling me at this point. So what ended up happening is like, "Don't worry, we looked it up and we found a way. There's a way to get rid of it." And I'm like, "Okay, what do I have to do?"
Oh my gosh.
It's like, because the monster wants pee-pee, you have to get rid of your pee-pee. And I'm like, "So what do I do?" It's like, you got to put it out in a fire.
Oh my.
That's the only way to
Please don't tell me.
And like I said, because we were there for a birthday party, they had like a fire pit and everything like that, and then they had the grill. So I was like, I have to get rid of this monster, otherwise it's gonna scare me forever, and I don't want that. So my dad and my uncles were over there by the grill, just chilling out and everything like that, and the fire pit was right there. Straight up, it was dark out. I went over to the fire pit, made sure no one was looking, dropped trow completely the whole way, and I just pissed on the fire.
Oh my lord. Did it at least get rid of the monster?
No, I just got my ass whipped by my parents.
Oh lord.
It's like, "What are you doing pulling your pants down in front of everybody? What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I didn't get rid of the monster."
That's amazing. That is great.
And then
that is
from
great...
here on out, I would never believe a word my cousins ever told me.
Do you still not believe them?
No. It's like, now I know the toilet's not real. But
you sure about that? That is a phenomenal answer. Like, my God,
yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what happens when you grow up a weenie like me. You believe that there's a toilet monster.
It's okay. I love my weenie. I'm a little weenie too.
But yeah, good questions.
Very phenomenal questions.
Good answers.
So before we turn this into, a 10-hour podcast, we're going to say our farewells. So thank you guys for tuning in. We really hope you enjoy this. This has been Just and Ben Untitled Podcast.
Episode number 4. Can you believe it? We're up to 4 whole episodes.
To 4. Now on to
episode 5 will be out.
Just keep a lookout.
Yeah. Subscribe. Press the bell.
Like.
Follow our socials so when you'll know when the podcast goes live.
Definitely follow the socials. I mean, I know most of you follow Ben's. I do have, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah. There's some things that I'll shout out that he doesn't. So if you want to keep on the lookout of our
I'll say this right now, and it's nothing towards anybody specifically, but if you message me on Twitter and I don't respond to you, it's not because I don't want to. It's just most of the time I don't get to my responses right away. That's why I say if you shout us out or say anything to us on Twitter, if you say it to her, more than likely you'll get a response sooner.
Course. It's not that he doesn't want to. It's just
because I'm taking care of a majority of the stuff behind the scenes. I'm doing like the editing and stuff like that. I am on Twitter all the time, but most of the time I just have it open.
So if you do want responses and quick, shout me out. Definitely.
I'm not saying that I won't respond. I'm just saying don't expect it instantly if you like message me.
Which would me, I would instantly respond. So I'm more of that scene while he's editing. Yeah. So please give me a follow as well so you can keep up on all our stuff.
Like I said, eventually we will make a Twitter just strictly for the channel. So that's where the questions will end up going to. But as of right now, that's how it's going.
And a huge shout out to all our fans who do watch our stuff.
Yeah.
All our family, friends. Yes, definitely. You know who you are. We love you so much.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for just being a part of this funny little adventure that we're taking a part in.
Of course. And thank you for being you.
And thank you for doing this with me.
And thank you for letting me join you. I love you.
I love you more.
Well, guys.
That's going to do it for this episode.
We hope you have a good day, night.
Good day, night, weekend,
just enjoy
afternoon.
Yourself.
Whatever day, time, whenever you're watching this, I just hope you had fun, you got a few laughs, you felt something, and you just enjoyed it.
I hope, if you're having a bad day, if you listen to this, I hope you turned it around some, made you smile or laugh a little. Well, I have been Jess.
And I have been Ben.
You guys take care.
We will see you next time.
We will see you next time.
Later.